Good morning. God! Somebody give me a script.
You've got one. There's a script right in front of you.
Learn to read. Son of a...
And we're off to a blazing start.
Inside this room, all of my dreams become realities, and some of my realities become dreams.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here? Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
You are listening to The Wilder Ride, getting wilder by the minute. Here are your hosts, Alan Sanders and Walt Murray.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Wilder Ride, getting wilder by the minute, a podcast where we break down and celebrate the films of Gene Wilder 1 minute at a time. Our inaugural season, we are breaking down Young Frankenstein. I'm one of the hosts. I'm Alan Sanders.
And I'm the other host, Walt Murray.
And our guest, Susan Delmonico. Welcome back.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Great to have you continue to stop on by. You kind of class up the place.
I think I do, looking at the two of you.
Thank God it's a podcast. It's not a video podcast.
Nobody needs this visual at all.
No, nobody needs a
audio.
video podcast.
All right. Well, when we last left our friends on the tracks in minute 13, as we are now heading into minute 14 of Young Frankenstein, we last left with Elizabeth, played by Madeline Kahn, saying, are you into traditional weddings? And Dr. Frankenstein, played by Gene Wilder, said, I'm into... Well, we get to start off this minute finding what is he into? Is he into kinky games and
All of a
sex
sudden,
parties?
this movie takes a sudden turn.
I mean, we are talking about Frankenstein. Is he into dead things?
Well, I know this will come as a shock to our women listeners, but he's interested in the same thing that men are interested in.
What, just because he's a scientist and a lecturer and a distinguished surgeon? Yeah, he wants the hot chick.
Yeah, he's into the wedding night.
So apparently that's exactly. If we roll from minute 13 into 14, he says, I'm into traditional wedding nights. I was like, that's not creepy at all.
No, not at all.
So apparently, I think you made the comment, Susan, yesterday, I guess you don't get much more traditional than a missionary evening.
That's right.
Nothing scientific about that. That's just kind of boring. But hey, apparently this guy, any port in a storm right now, because he is apparently not getting anything.
Well, she is such a tease. He's
She
like, just
is.
give me the
Man,
wedding
she
night. I
really
skip the
is.
wedding. I want the wedding night.
Yeah, she continues to play this coy game of hers. You know, she's so excited. He's so excited that as soon as he's like, I'm into wedding night, she's like, oh, stop, and turns
You're
around.
incorrigible.
Because I was like, oh, I can't believe you said that about the wedding night, playing all coy. And, of course, like any guy, he feels like, oh, I'm going to grab and hug her. Some of her hair in his mouth, he's just trying to, like, spit it out sideways.
That's just so funny.
Yeah, that is.
And it's such a
great.
simple little thing, but it's hilarious.
And it so fits with the whole movie.
I think I know why he gets the hair in the mouth. I just slowed it down. It looks like she's moving in close to him, and he thinks he's going to get a kiss.
So
and
he
she
opens
turns,
his
and he's
mouth.
opening his mouth to get the kiss. And she's turning, and he just gets a mouthful of the back of her
That
hair.
makes it even funnier.
It's like, look at the expression in his eyes.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh!
She's like a good goalie. Every shot he takes, she blocks.
Yes, she does.
Talk about a slap shot tie-in. There you go.
Hey,
just
always thinking of slap shot.
And I love this next moment. After he realizes I didn't get a kiss, I have to split the hair out of my mouth. He leans in close and goes, well, at least I'm going to give her a from-behind hug. And she's like, oh, Taffeta, darling. He's like, Taffeta, my dear.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hear it is more like he has no idea. Taffeta to you too?
That's exactly what I can tell you that is exactly what's going on. He has no clue what taffeta is.
Well, it's obvious.
Doesn't
he
care.
know what taffeta is.
He's
this a
playing
term
along.
of endearment?
He's hoping he knows what taffeta means.
What
I'm
kind of
just gonna
filthy
say
mouth does she
right
have?
back to you. Hope for the best.
Taffeta. Well, she does say taffeta, darling.
Yeah.
Oh, taffeta, dear. Now, we'll take a moment here because I had to look up the word. Well, you didn't know what taffeta was.
Oh, I had no idea.
I only had a very basic sense that this was material. Susan, did you know what taffeta is?
I knew it was a material like a crinkly kind of material, I think, but I'm not exactly really domestic, so...
You're not so domestic yourself? According to the dictionary, taffeta is a fine, lustrous silk or similar synthetic fabric with a crisp texture.
Okay, I guess it's not crinkly.
Well, it's got a crisp, like it's not loose like an evening gown or something like that. It's still made out of silk, but it's obviously got a little bit more crisp of a texture to it rather than a very loose fitting. But I guess it could wrinkle easily.
Wrinkles easily.
If you bunch it all up.
Or show any affection towards your fiance.
Toward the person that you are betrothing yourself to, because it's taken you a lifetime to figure out that I'm yours.
You got it, mister.
You got it, mister. I'm yours. This goes back to what I was saying in the last minute, though. Yesterday. If you came to send me off goodbye, I don't mind you dressing nicely. But it's almost like you can't wait for me to be gone so you can hit the town and start partying. I mean, she is dressed to the nines.
Yeah, it's almost like you're an inconvenience.
And that's the part that I think bothers me is he's so smart. And I guess we know people like this that are so brilliant in their profession. How are you missing the obvious signs? She doesn't really, really care about you. She sees a career that's going to have a lot of money, a lot of prestige, but she's going to go right to a party as soon as he's out of sight. I mean, she is ready to go hit the town. Makes me wonder, this act of hers, and Susan, you tell me, do you think, is she really as prudish as she's trying to make it sound like, oh, not until our wedding? I mean, she may find guys that are more exciting, more accessible to her than this guy.
She could find a guy that's more exciting, but he doesn't fit the bill of what she needs for a husband. He's just fitting...
do you think, though, she's, I don't know, knocking bottom with other people out there?
If she's that shallow
knocking bottom. Well, what did she do?
Okay, trying to recover here. If she's that shallow, I wouldn't be surprised.
Look how she's dressed. And she's so worried about ruining her hair, ruining her makeup.
Well, that's more the appearances, just like he's part of the appearance. She needs a husband that's successful, a doctor. It's all appearances for her.
Well, wouldn't the appearance be to show how much you're going to miss him and care about him?
Maybe she finds him repulsive.
Well, I just think that...
I mean, there are people that are married who find their spouse repulsive. I'm just saying.
Well, hopefully not before you get married. Hopefully you at least get a little...
At least you get the traditional wedding night.
Yeah, exactly.
At least once, right?
Well, I get the sense
With
that
taffeta.
she is...
Taffeta.
Yeah, I don't even suspect that she is having an affair or anything like that necessarily, and I would tend to go that direction since that's my profession, but... Well, not professional having an affair, but...
Wow.
Your profession.
So
You go out and have affairs, do you?
Yeah, since in real life I'm a private
professional
investigator. And,
philanderer.
Wow, I would have never looked at you and guessed.
yeah, well, I hide it well.
You have to get licensed for that, or...
No, you just have to have a good website.
And everywhere he goes.
But I would usually naturally go there. I just think she's so shallow and...
So you don't sense that she's maybe hits guys on the side and tries to keep that quiet?
I think she's just a big tease.
Yeah.
I think she's just a big player, and she just is that high society, outside appearance kind of person.
She's using her sexuality to get what she wants.
Yes, I think that even more so.
So maybe she's hitting the town not necessarily for an affair or to be with somebody, but to once again maybe get drinks and a dinner paid for and have somebody else give her a good time, but she still draws the line at a certain point.
She just wants to have fun. She wants to go out there and enjoy life, and he's kind of taking away from that.
Yeah, maybe it's because I know the ending. I don't know. My suspicion radar is off the chain radar. I
wouldn't put it past her.
Right, but I don't think this scene gives an indication of that. I think it just shows that she's a tease and uses people.
And I think it points to the fact that they just really don't have a good relationship, even if he thinks they do.
And they don't have anything in common.
Nothing.
He's an intellectual. She's a socialite. There's nothing there.
And he, oddly, from her perspective, and I can't figure this out, the Frankenstein name is definitely not one that you want to wear with pride. So I do kind of question why she would
But it's Frankenstein. It's not Frankenstein.
And he is a doctor,
Yeah.
so, and a respected doctor, apparently.
Maybe she's one of the only people who doesn't know what his backstory is.
Well, if it doesn't interest her, then she probably doesn't know. She seems the type that unless it completely involves her, she doesn't care. It has to affect her, otherwise she doesn't care.
That is a really good point. I think she is that shallow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they could have written her any shallower. Like, she is as shallow as she could possibly be.
She's as shallow as to her character as Brainy Smurf is annoying to his character.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I cannot help, and we have another Blazing Saddles tie, and we had Reverend Johnson earlier in the classroom, and obviously we know Madeline Kahn plays a heavy role with Lily Von Stupp in Blazing Saddles, a movie they had just both been in prior to the release of this movie. When he says, after spitting that little bit of hair out of his mouth when he was going in for the kiss and realizes, I got hair in my mouth, he says, does this mean you love me, darling? You bet your boots it does. I cannot help but hear Lily Von Stupp say that. Simply bet your boots. I'm thinking, well, get your boots off the stage. Do you hear it? Do you hear it?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely an echo of her character.
You bet your boots it does. She has no sophistication whatsoever. I mean, none.
Which also kind of goes back to the weird nature of their relationship and just how vapid she is. And I mean, this is a hollow woman.
Very, very, very shallow. We get to the next thing. Obviously, we talked about taffeta for a moment. She starts talking about the taffeta. And he realizes I can't even hug her from behind. She's not going to let me touch her. And the conductor comes out and says, all aboard. And she's like, oh, that horrible man.
and give him credit. Dr. Frankenstein is doing everything he can here to have a normal relationship and to hug his fiance, to have a proper send-off.
A little sign of affection. Just
a little bit.
Just a peck, something. And when she turns around and puts her hands up, oh, that horrid man. The conductor is personally affecting her right now. Right. It's an affront to her.
Right, and he should have checked with her before he said all aboard.
See, and with her fingers right in the frame. And by the way, her nails are absolutely perfect. They are, I mean, these nails were professionally done. So he sees her hands, like they're inches from his face. So what's the natural thing? I can at least hold her hand.
Yeah.
Darling, the nails. Now, Susan, you've gone to have your nails done. You have daughters who have had their nails done. I get when they're drying, but at this point in time, would grasping your hand do anything to your nails?
Nothing. If she had just gotten her nails done.
But I mean, they're at the train station. Yeah. Did she get it done inside before walking out?
If she still has wet nails going to get to the train station, they're going to be messed up. They're dried.
And maybe it's like an airport. I get there maybe a place to get something to eat, a place to get your shoes shined, a place to buy a book. Or do they have nail salons, generally speaking, as you're getting ready to leave for a train ride?
Right. It just goes back to she's using every excuse possible to not have him touch her.
Exactly. It's
This is a healthy relationship.
Yes. So she must really find him repulsive.
You know, breaking this down a minute at a time, I really liked her in the movie, and now I'm thinking she is not a likable kind of person.
No, she is not a likable person at all.
I just love how Madeline Kahn plays her so well.
Oh, no, that's not to say that she's not playing it right. Oh, the actress.
Home run.
Home run. The character I'm not really finding appealing anymore.
Well, and I don't think we're supposed to find her appealing. We're supposed to see what she's like.
Now, they make this desperate attempt here midway through the minute after telling him, my nails. He's trying to figure out, well, can I maybe figure a way to get some kind of kiss? Can I? And he's like looking like a bird waiting for his mom to deliver the worm. He's just like, And finally he realizes, and she's not giving him any indication of what I'm going to allow you to touch with your lips. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, maybe elbows?
We can touch elbows?
And she seems okay with that.
Yes. Well, she's wearing her coat. And...
Can't really mess up the elbows too bad, I guess.
Now, this brings me all the way back to some of the preteen and teen sensations that go on in a man's head, or in this case, a boy thinking he's a man. Did you ever used to get really excited if you accidentally bumped elbows with the girl sitting next to you in class? I don't know. We had these long desks. We didn't have individual... Like some schools have individual desks. We had in science class, they were long rows of desks. And so we would sit there, and if my elbow would drift and it would touch the girl, like, oh my God, I touched her.
Oh, at that age, any possible indication of interest got our attention.
Because I know the elbow is not necessarily the most sensitive areas, but I was like, oh my God, we're touching elbows. Oh. Did that ever happen from a female's perspective?
No.
It was the polar opposite. It was like get your elbow off of me, you weirdo.
Seriously? You're on my space. Get away.
Now, there was the joke, and this was more in high school, because at that point, now I'm a little bit older, but that was the joke, and I don't know if it came from this, but there was always the joke of like, well, if you're rubbing elbows, we're just having elbow sex. And if you look here, they rub up and down 3 or 4 times before they say goodbye.
It's like 2 wings flapping.
It's just so awkward looking.
The whole scene is awkward.
Yes.
The whole scene. This is like two people who've never met, who just can't get the chemistry right, and they don't like. She doesn't seem to like him a whole lot, but he definitely is reaching out. He really wants that relationship and that affection.
Does he want the relationship, or does he just want the affection?
He wants the wedding night.
Yeah.
A traditional
wedding night.
Well, here's something interesting. After elbow sex or just waving goodbye or flapping or whatever they're doing, here's something I just noticed watching this again. When you watch it minute by minute, as he has to board the train because it's getting ready to pull out, they do the elbows.
Yeah.
He turns to look back, right? Now, we always know if they look back, they're interested in you, right? So he turns and looks back. He has to then call her name to get her to turn back and look at him. She's already turned her back on him.
She's off to the party.
She's thinking, I'm going to the party. And then, okay, this is Madeline Kahn nails this next moment. So he figures the last thing I can at least do, which we've all done, just blow a kiss to your beloved. And he kisses his fingertips and then moves to throw it at her. And she ducks like a fastball is coming straight at her head.
That is so funny. I laughed so hard at that. As if, oh my goodness, he's going to touch me.
like he's actually thrown the kiss, the one thing that he's been wanting this whole time on the platform, the one thing she's definitely not giving him. And when she goes to throw it, out of the way.
It's like he threw a bag of turds at her or something.
She almost looks disgusted. Whoa, what are you trying to do?
It's so shocking.
Now, what's funny to me with her character, and you explain this to me, Susan, after dodging his incoming kiss, she puts her hand on her cheeks like, it really wasn't going to touch me. And then she blows one back to him.
Well, she has to keep up the charade.
You said the charade.
I don't think she touches her. She doesn't actually touch her lips. She just kind of makes the kissy thing.
She realizes, oh, okay, that wasn't as repulsive as I thought. I guess I jumped the gun there. I can do that back. I can do that.
And you're right. I'm watching. I don't think she puts her hands on her face. She rests it on her cheek, but when she goes to blow the kiss, she puts her fingers kind of like in front of her mouth and goes, mwah, like she's just mouthing. Yeah. It's not even real. She can't even kiss her fingers first. Yeah. She's just, mwah.
That would be too intimate.
Now, the funny thing about this, because she's choosing to open her mouth, and mwah, it's almost like fate finally is getting its due on her, because as the train is pulling away, and this isn't a subway train. This is obviously a choo-choo train.
Yeah, this is right, a choo-choo train, Alan. Yes, it's a choo train.
That's the reason I'm saying it's a choo-choo train.
Choo-choo.
Yes.
Listen. Told you a few minutes ago, I went all the way back to when I was first touching elbows with the girl next to me in science class.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of insight here.
His maturity level is not too high, apparently.
No, there's been no growth.
Hey, maybe I'm Mungo. Has something to do with where choo-choo go. Where choo-choo go? Mungo only pawn.
Well, and you're going to get your choo-choo moment coming up.
That's why I'm using choo-choo, actually, because there's a reason for that, which thankfully we'll be able to get into in tomorrow's minute, because I just now, today, got a joke that we won't get into until tomorrow. Some of these jokes, even I don't get.
It's a tough one.
It is a tough one, but I think when we explain it, people are going to be like, oh, really?
Yeah, right. It's very enlightening.
But getting back to what cosmic fate here, this train, this choo-choo train that's pulling away from the station, it's putting up a lot of the smoke and debris from, I don't know what it's burning, because I don't know that I've even seen the Old West trains put out this much black smoke.
Steam.
But it's not steam. Look at it, it's black.
It's like the train station caught on fire.
It's like she's being completely covered in like a wave of smog and dirt and debris. It's like a sandstorm comes rolling in and choking her. Yeah. She starts to cough. She's like... at the very end of this minute. So I guess she gets a little bit of a comeuppance here, because as pristine as she is. Now look, I've got a big green egg. I like smoking things on my big green egg. It's a smoker. Can you imagine what she's going to smell like after this cloud of smoke that's engulfed her? She's ready for this party. She's going to have to go home and fumigate.
Yeah, she's going to smell like diesel and like she's been hanging out at a truck stop.
Exactly, there's the impression at that party.
Well, yeah, maybe she is hanging out at a
smells like
truck
you've been
stop.
down at the docks.
Yeah. Well, and all this does really point to he's going for that normal life. He is totally missing the boat here. He doesn't have a normal relationship. He's got a terrible relationship. There's so much in his life that he is trying to be normal and get away from the craziness of his family history. But he's completely unsuccessful.
Yeah, as successful as he is as a doctor, which ironically was in his family profession, the one thing that does tie him to his ancestor is the medical field.
Yes.
That's the only thing he is willingly embracing. Is he really happy? We don't know. We see a lot of anger comes out quickly. We see a lot of defensive, I'm not this, I'm not. In fact, I'm going to go so far as not even pronounce my name the way the rest of the family pronounces it. Has he been running and trying to put up a front, including Elizabeth, his whole life?
Mm-hmm. It makes you wonder, how did they even meet? What brought them together in the first place?
Two weird ships crossing in a train station.
I'm going to guess it was Daddy donated a lot of money to the college or something like that, and there was a fundraising party, and they bumped into each other.
Probably, and of course he saw this really attractive. I mean, she's Madeline Kahn is beautiful, and the way she's done up here with her hair, which is again not 70s. This hair is very much vintage 30s, getting ready to go to a ball almost. Like she's ready to hit a high society function. She's got the full length fur coat. Obviously, we've gone through this whole minute. She's done up in every way possible. I think she knew, here comes my meal ticket, and if I play this right, I don't have to do a whole lot, and he's just going to do everything for me.
Yeah, with her, it's all about appearance.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's going to do it for minute number 14. We've got another minute to go. We've got to get Dr. Frankenstein on board the train here and get him to his destination. Susan, anything else you want to add? Anything to this minute that we might have missed?
No, just I love everything about this scene, the film noir style, the wipe, everything was, very cool.
It is very cool, and yet, at the very same time, completely turns the film noir motif, turns it on its head.
Oh, yeah. Her comedic timing is great.
Well, anything that we didn't get to in your notes? Anything that we need to add?
When I was watching these 2 minutes in particular, I was so happy that Susan was coming in because I really wanted to get a woman's take on this scene because it is so weird. And the chemistry between the two of them, I mean, as actors, the chemistry is just awesome. I think if it had been 2 different actors doing this, it wouldn't have come out as well as it did because this had to be a really tough scene to act.
Yeah.
I mean, just like she did in Blazing Saddles with having to sing off key, even though she is a great singer, having to miss each other emotionally so much had to be tough as actors. So
especially when they know each other.
Oh, yeah, and have worked together so much.
Because ironically, looking at this, you would have never guessed that there was any kind of friendship or anything. They just feel so awkward.
Yes.
Which is perfect. Which is exactly how that scene's supposed to be played.
Absolutely. And played perfectly. And so it is a great scene.
I do love, and I think what Susan said is absolutely right. This is the dichotomy of you're once again recreating. They wanted to recreate the Frankenstein feel, which they do through much of it, but this is certainly that film noir. It's a steamy, wet night, and there's 2 people that, for whatever reason, love is not going to happen for them, but they both, and yet it's exactly the opposite. He's the one who loves her, and she's just, whatever.
Yeah.
You bet your boots.
Yeah, and I think we could talk about this one scene for a lot longer, but I guess we have to move on.
Well, we got to carry it into tomorrow. It's Friday. We want to give the audience something to wait for. We got to get them into the next minute number 15. Susan, you were with us all week so far. You want to close out the week with us? Come back tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm planning on it.
We'd love to have you back. Well, let's say thank you to all of our listeners out there because let's face it, we love doing this, but without an audience, we're just whistling Dixie.
Yeah, it's just the 3 of us sitting around talking to each
You
other.
bet your boots we're doing it.
You bet your boots.
So, hey, I want to tell everybody, go to our website. It's probably the portal for everything. It's thewilderride.com. Has links to our Facebook page, has links to our Twitter account, and, of course, our Patreon page. More importantly, if you go to our Facebook page, we've got 2 different ones. We've got the public Facebook page. We also have a listener group. So if you really want to get into some discussions about this movie or any movies, really, we'd love to have you participate.
Absolutely. Let us know what you think. If there's any insight that you want to give, we'd love to hear it. And also take some time to go out and find us on iTunes. We'd appreciate that.
All right. Well, we'll come back tomorrow and find out if Madeline Kahn gets away from that dark, smoky fog or if that basically envelops her and what happens on the train as Dr. Frankenstein is making his way toward his family's inheritance.
It's going to be a wild ride.
You bet your boots it will be.
Bye-bye.
Frankenstein.
Taffeta.